Sometimes in life we just suffer. Sometimes it's from being totally withdrawn, or so much stress that we are totally anxious, or so tired that we are totally burnt out. But our current position is not our final destination. No, indeed. There's hope. So whether it's your personal life, your career, your relationship, your business, or your job, we say there's reason to believe again. And we present from Andy's personal development, the breakout room. It's the place for health, happiness, and prosperity. Stay tuned for more. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Breakout Room. This is your host, Andy Charles, your partner in health, happiness, and prosperity. Wherever you are in the globe, in the world at this time, and you're listening to this podcast or viewing a recording of this podcast, we hope that the message, the content that we bring to you will bring you much value in terms of how you can have health, happiness, and prosperity. Our guest will be introduced to you shortly. His name is Daniel Raz. But before he comes on, let's have a quick word from one of our neighboring sponsors and friend as we continue to share together the opportunity to have you involved in the breakout room. Here we go. So there you have it, our friends at Public Speaking Success. Thank you so much for their continued commitment and their support. Now for our guest. As I said before, his name is Daniel Raz, and this episode is entitled Improving Confidence, Well-Being with Daniel Raz. So who is Daniel Raz? Well, he's an individual who has graduated with an exercise and nutrition degree. He's a certified personal trainer, now full-time online coach specializing in helping men sustainably lose weight without going to the gym. There's so much more that we can say about Daniel at this time, but we'd allow him the opportunity to do that for himself. Let's welcome in the breakout room live, Daniel Raz. Welcome to the program, Daniel.
Appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, great. We're excited to have you. We're looking forward to an amazing and wonderfully engaging program with you. Daniel, you have a very intriguing and interesting portfolio. And I would like to go back to the beginning a bit. As I looked into your information, it says at the age of 6, you moved from Israel to China with your family. Was that a
Yep.
military thing happening, or did it happen because of a change of residence or business? What was the motivating factor behind that move from Israel to China? Hugely contrasting differences in culture and food, etc.
Definitely a drastic change. My dad simply wanted to start his own business, and in China, everything is made, everything is a lot cheaper. So he decided to go there. And this was back in 2004, before China was nearly as westernized as it is today. When I came, I was one of the only non-Chinese people there that I was actually a child model from the ages of 6 to 12 because they've never seen a non-Chinese person where I lived. And I actually was a child model for 6 years. By 2010, there was a bunch of foreigners, so I was no longer special. But yes, at the very start, I remember there was only McDonald's and hardcore Chinese food. And Chinese food in China is not like Panda Express. It's not like Chinese food in America. Very, very different. And because I was extremely picky, other than chicken nuggets from McDonald's and hot chocolate from Starbucks, I did not consume anything else. I was extremely picky, extremely unhealthy. So I don't care who is listening to this right now. If you believe you're an extremely picky eater, if you believe that you are extremely unhealthy, you can definitely change that.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Thank you. Go ahead.
yeah, so at the age of 12, I started playing basketball. My brother convinced me that if I wanted to improve at basketball, I should eat healthier, which was pretty much any diet except what I was eating, because I was eating just junk. So I slowly started getting into more nutrition, healthy eating, that sort of thing. And at the age of 17, I started lifting weights and working out more. And I noticed that unlike a basketball court, unlike a basketball, I took my body with me everywhere I went. So while playing basketball, I was only confident on the basketball court. But when I improved my fitness, my body, I was more confident everywhere because it's a lot more transferable skill because I took my body everywhere I went, and that motivated me to become a personal trainer. So I, as you mentioned, went to university in Canada to further study exercise nutrition, worked at a few gyms. Then 2020, I'm sure your audience have heard and is aware there was a lockdown situation going on, and that is when I started my online fitness coaching. And the reason why I decided to specialize in helping men lose weight without going to the gym is I believe oftentimes the people that need the most help hate going to the gym. And I have not heard many people specialize in specifically that. So I believe I'm the best to do it in that specific field.
Yeah, great. That's really confident. A confident start by you. Appreciate your candid report there, Daniel. How is it that you get people to understand that they don't have to do the traditional thing by going to the gym? Everybody is talking about going to the gym to lose weight
Yep.
or to gain some extra pounds, however they see their level of health to be achieved. But somehow you have managed to convince people to get away from that tradition. How did you do that, Daniel?
Well, it's not easy to convince them now because I have a lot of testimonials. But at the very start,
Uh-huh.
it's just getting people to realize that your body doesn't know if you're holding a barbell or a dumbbell or bands or push-ups. All it
Yeah.
knows is tension.
Yeah.
And if you know how to manipulate that tension, if you know the right exercises to do, then it doesn't matter where you are, what equipment you have, you can always get the job done. And a metaphor that I use very often is Gordon Ramsay, the chef, can make a better meal with one pan than the average person can with five pans, because it's not about how much equipment you have, it's about knowing what to do. And
Yeah.
because I accumulated the knowledge of over a decade, I can just give that knowledge to my clients and they immediately have a plan specifically tailored to them that allows them to get sustainable results.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for sharing, Daniel. So, based on the experiences that you've had with your clients since you started and up to present, what are some of the major challenges that they face in getting a healthy weight for their body, for their life, so that they can proceed to do other things?
I believe the biggest mindset difference between a person that's fit and a person that's overweight and out of shape is the person that's fit views everything regarding health and fitness as a continuum, while people that are out of shape and overweight view everything as binary, as in yes or no. So, as an example, let's say that the objective reality, the scenario is you're extremely busy, life is extremely chaotic, and you only have 20 minutes to exercise. The fit person says, well, I planned to exercise for 45 minutes, but I only have 20 minutes, so I'll do 20 minutes. The overweight, out of shape person says, I plan to work out for 45 minutes, I only have 20 minutes, I won't work out. That's the biggest difference. The fit person always finds a way to maximize whatever scenario they're in. The overweight person says, I either did it or I didn't. And the problem with that is life is never smooth. There's always going to be obstacles thrown your way. Life is going to throw curveballs, and anybody can lose weight when things are going well. But the key is to find ways to still progress even when life is chaotic. And that's what I help my clients the most with, because when my clients fly 3 times a week, or they have 7 kids, or they have 20 employees, and they still need to lose weight, they still need to figure out how to do it. Once we accomplish that, then everything else becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. So you made a metaphor recently there with regards to a chef, and we have a
Yeah.
comment from Ram Singh Buddha Singh. He says he loved that metaphor. I know this individual personally, actually went to school together, and he's a fitness guru of some sorts. Thank you so much, Rambo. We appreciate your comment. And you have Daniel smiling here. Wonderful. So, with regards to dieting and rest, how important are those two combinations with regards to maintaining a healthy lifestyle and keeping that weight manageable?
Diet, especially when it comes to weight loss, is probably 80 to 90% of the outcome, the results. And I believe if your diet has a name, it's probably not sustainable. Vegan, keto, intermittent fasting may work fantastically for some individuals, but for most individuals, it's probably not something you can maintain for the rest of your life. And if you can't maintain for a decade, there's no point in doing it for a day, because chances are you are not looking to be on a fitness magazine, and you don't want to look good just for an Instagram picture. The key is to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. So you get off CPAP, so you have more energy, so you can play with your kids, so you feel better into your clothes, that sort of thing. And I believe the best way to accomplish that is to simply write a list of everything you enjoy eating. Don't filter if it's expensive, convenient, healthy. Just write a list of everything you enjoy eating. And after that, underline what is also healthy. Now, ideally, you have an expert to dispel some myths, because there's oftentimes foods that people think are healthy but are not healthy, and many foods that people think are not healthy but are actually pretty healthy. But in general, I would say most people have a pretty good sense. So if you simply do this 5-minute exercise, you write a list of everything you enjoy eating, and you underline what's also healthy, now you have your own meal plan of healthy and tasty foods. And if you stick to that 80% of the time, you would be on your way towards a much healthier way of living.
Yeah, so we have another comment here from Ram Singh Buddha saying, he says, fit person maximize the opportunity and make use of the time. Thanks for that perspective. I like the idea that fitness is a continuum and not a quick fix. It's just like success. It's not a matter of a destination, but it's about the process in getting there. And anything that happens really quick, you have to question it. The process is what matters.
Yes.
That makes the difference. It's so very important for us to recognize it. Thank you for that comment as well. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. With regards to a busy lifestyle, let's say someone is a CEO of a company or a manager of a team in a company, and their personal life as well demands much of their time and their attention and their resources. But they need to do something about weight management. What kind of
Mm.
advice, Daniel, would you give to them? Because the pace is so fast, they can't seem to
Yeah.
be able to do it themselves. How can you help them manage properly to ensure that they have enough time to take care of their body weight?
So I would start with what I call the easy wins. Easy wins, by my definition, are anything that takes minimal time or effort, but it moves the needle in your favor. So, as an example, I'm not sure if you can tell, but this is a standing desk. I'm
Yeah.
standing. I knew I
Uh-huh.
was going to have this podcast anyways. Might as well stand, burn a few extra calories. Whenever I'm talking on the phone, I'm never sitting. I'm always standing and walking. I'm going to have the conversation anyways. Might as well move. I always have a water bottle close by within arm's reach because it doesn't take really time or effort and it keeps me more hydrated. That allows me to not look or feel bloated, keeps me more full, gives me more energy, and it's a lot easier to make good choices. Another example is improving your sleep quality. It doesn't take time, doesn't take effort, but if you know how to improve your sleep quality, that drastically increases recovery, makes you less hungry, makes you less inclined to crave junk food, all positive, and it doesn't take any extra time. So focusing on all those things is what I would say for people that are especially busy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna help you about a bit, Daniel. I'm gonna just
Here's
share
a
this
hack
video.
to be healthy.
Give me some
Take
commentary
a
when it's
jug of
done.
water, take a sip, refresh it, then close it and do 5 bicycles. Then repeat and keep going until the entire jug is empty.
I love that. So what's the mindset behind that, Daniel? What are you saying?
So I landed in Paraguay 2 weeks ago. Before that, I was in Canada for the last 8 years. And in Canada, you can drink water from the tap. A lot of
Okay.
people still have water filters, but drinking from the tap is an option. But here in Paraguay, it's not an option. You have to go to the grocery store and take water jugs, as you saw, and walk to your apartment back. So I just set the huge water bottle on the table, and I just told my friend, "Hey, film me. I have a funny short video idea I want to do," and I just uploaded the video. There wasn't much thought behind it. That was pretty much it.
Okay, good. But I like it. I guess it kind of inspires some people to think about a simple way in which they can do something towards improving and increasing
Yeah.
the opportunity to have a healthy lifestyle. I love it. And we have two likes as well from our comments. So, in terms of your personal life, Daniel, what are some of the lessons that you had learned because you really started at the age of 17 doing the things that you needed to do concerning your health, and you would have built up over that period of time a number of experiences that would have taught you do it this way, not to do it this way, etc. What are some of the lessons, key lessons that you would have learned from that period to now that you're now helping your online clients with?
I would say the biggest overarching lesson is invest in what I call transferable skills, skills that transfer into everyday life. If you spend 5 hours every single week learning how to play piano, by the end of the year, you'd be a more competent piano player. However, if you go into a room with people that you've never met before, unless there's a piano in the vicinity, nobody would know how good you are at piano. They
Yeah,
wouldn't know if you're awful, they wouldn't know if you're fantastic. And unless you mention it, nobody would even think about asking you about your skills regarding playing piano. However, if for the next year you invest 5 hours into your health or fitness and you walk into a random room, immediately people would know whether you are extremely healthy or extremely unhealthy without even you saying a word. So I believe fitness is the most transferable skill. Improving this will improve every area of your life more than anything else. And I would say the second most transferable skill is your ability to articulate your thoughts, which is why I'm doing this podcast because I want to practice that. Because if you are in horrible shape and you can't speak, then you can't have a good relationship, you can't do well in business, you won't have a good life. And even if you're 10 out of 10 in piano, if you're obese and you can't speak, you're not going to have a good life. But if you're 1 out of 10 in piano or any other skill, but you're a 10 out of 10 in fitness, 10 out of 10 in speaking, or even 7 out of 10 in either of those, you're going to have a pretty good life. So I believe those two things will improve your life more than anything else. So you might as well invest in a coach who helps people do that and put more effort in improving those aspects because that moves the needle more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah. I hear the passion in your voice. Thank you for sharing, Daniel. Really appreciate that. So, we have often been told that as adults, we need to get between 7, sometimes there's 6 or 8 hours of complete rest when the night comes. There are some people that I know who struggle between the difference of resting and sleeping. I
Hmm.
wanted to explain that in terms of what really matters the most, the time or the amount of rest you can get for your body within that period, the 6 to 8 hours.
So I would say the most important thing is actually the quality of your sleep. 6 hours of high quality sleep is better than 10 hours of awful sleep.
Yeah.
So the best ways to improve the quality of your sleep is I would say there's three things. And the reason why, before I get into them, the reason why that's important is because everyone is super busy, everyone has other things going on. And unfortunately, I don't have the superpower to snap my fingers and make it so that there are 25 or 26 hours in the day, allowing you to sleep for an extra hour or two. But if you improve your sleep quality, then it doesn't matter that you can't get an extra 1 or 2 hours of sleep because you'll still get the most out of it. So I would say the three things that will help you improve your sleep quality the most is number one, cool room temperature. So
Mhm.
68 or 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 degrees Celsius. You can take a hot bath or shower before bed. You can drink hot tea before bed. I like to have a thin blanket and a thick blanket so I can alternate depending on how I'm feeling. Anything to cool down your body temperature. Secondly, dark as possible. So blackout curtains. I like to have an eye mask. It makes a huge difference. I would say that's the number one fitness gadget that I recommend people to get. Fantastic. And you can also cover any electronic lights with a towel if you really want to make it as dark as possible.
Yeah.
And thirdly, and probably most importantly, yet everyone struggles with this, is low stimulation before bed. So avoid social media, avoid the news, avoid heavy arguments. Instead, you want to journal, meditate, anything that gets you relaxed.
Wow. I love it, Daniel. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate the information and the knowledge that you are sharing. In terms of a routine for someone to follow, with regards to losing weight, and specifically for health purposes, for health reasons, wanting to maintain a healthy lifestyle, and let's say you need to lose 60 pounds. I'm just using this as an example. What
Mhm.
is the best method that someone should engage in with regards to using those specific pounds that are necessary for them to maintain a healthy lifestyle or a balanced weight, as it's usually called?
So a lot of people think that they lack motivation, but I would argue people simply lack tangible results. Because if you see the scale go down week after week after week after week, you would want to continue. So as long as you have a customized plan specifically tailored to you, along with accountability, then sustainable weight loss would be inevitable. And the key is having a coach or having someone make those adjustments when you hit a plateau. Because oftentimes people can easily lose those first 20 pounds on their own, but then they get stuck and they don't know how to continue. And that makes them get frustrated and gain the weight back.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think they're missing one thing. But the reality is it's probably a thousand little things, which is why having somebody who's done this before is so helpful so they can tell you exactly what to focus on at what time. Because different people at different situations require different advice, which is why so
Hmm.
many people feel stuck because what works well for one person might not work well for another person.
The person.
And
Yeah.
all of us are individuals or different people. There isn't one sentence that is universally applicable for everyone all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, great. So I want to share another video with us, and we'll have Daniel comment on that as well. Stand by for this one.
Stop thinking you are a failure because you didn't lose weight this week. From summer to winter, the temperature goes down. However, just because there's a day in November that's hotter than a day in August does not mean the sun is no longer working. It doesn't mean that seasons are a scam. And it doesn't mean the Earth should switch plans and rotate the other way. If the solar system just keeps doing its thing, the temperature will go down. You might not have to change anything at all. Just keep doing the right things and the weight will go down. If you want help sustainably losing weight, give me a follow.
So, what are the right things? What are the right things that you're referring to, Daniel?
So, what I was alluding to is even if you walk, drink plenty of water, get high quality sleep, eat enough protein, and exercise often, if you do all those things, still you're not going to lose weight every single day and maybe even every single week. Now, if you look at a longer time horizon during the year, then yeah, you'll probably lose 60 or 70 pounds. That's the average of my clients. However, every single week might not always be a win. And just like the temperature, even though from winter to summer the temperature goes up, it doesn't go up every single day, every single week. It's not a linear line. And the reason why that's important is because a lot of people freak out when the scale doesn't always go down. And it's important for people to have a different perspective because it's my belief that people don't hate waiting, they hate waiting longer than they expected. And if we change that expectation of saying, hey, there's going to be ups and downs, that's inevitable. You're not going to lose weight every single week or every single day, but at a longer time horizon, it is going to look like that. So even though from winter to summer, it might look like a linear line, if you were to zoom in, you'll see a bunch of fluctuations and your weight loss is exactly the same, even if you do everything right.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So, how many languages do you actually speak, Daniel?
I would say I only speak English and Hebrew fluently. I could get around in Chinese. Back in the day, I can get around now. I forgot most of it. And I'm trying to be able to get around in Spanish. So I'm slowly learning that.
Yeah, okay, great, wonderful. So, with regards to the people that you are coaching online, are there specific programs that you would have had for individual persons, or are there linear programs that you have, and depending on what they say their challenges are, you just send them to one of or two of these programs?
So everything I do is customized and tailored. I don't have a PDF that I just send people. So I don't
Okay,
really have a program. It's all one-on-one coaching
okay,
because in my experience, all the information is on Google anyways, but it's not specifically tailored to them. And more importantly, people need to have a reason to do it and they need to be held accountable and be consistent. Otherwise, nothing works. So even though the exercises and the nutrition plan and everything is customized to the individual and that's super important, what actually gets people results is changing their mindset. And I believe for that, you can't read a book, you can't read a PDF. You have to talk to a person one on one and listen to the language, listen to the way they talk, and change that and fix that. Very common way of thinking that overweight people that out of shape have is, let's say they are feeling full, but there's still more food on the plate. Many people think that if they throw away the food or they save it for later, that's a waste. And they force themselves to eat even though they're feeling full. But that's a wrong mentality to have because right now, doesn't matter what city you're in, there's a bus that's going around the city. And just because you're not on the bus does not mean that you're wasting like electricity or you're wasting the gas because the bus is going to drive around the city anyways. If it's not of use to you, there's no reason for you to utilize it. If you're feeling full, then only bad things will happen if you continue to eat the food. You're not going to save any starving children in China. You're not going to have more money in your bank account if you finish your plate. Throwing away the food is the most morally superior thing you can do for yourself and for society, or just giving it to someone else or saving it for later. But if you're full, every single bite that you eat, no matter what food it is a negative. And that's a mindset that a lot of people need to adopt.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing, Daniel. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about so many things with regards to weight loss and being able to have that level of discipline to understand what is important for us to put into our bodies. I think that, Daniel, a lot of people don't really think about how valuable their bodies are.
Mhm.
It's actually the temple that carries our soul and our spirit, and it's
Yep.
extremely important that we find a way to take care of it. There are so many careless people that I come across with regards to how they eat, their eating habits, in terms of nighttime, daytime, calories, etc. I normally would eat with a lot of salads in my food, and I think that that creates a higher level of balance, and it helps, I think, in many ways to have the food properly digested. Now, what I really want to get to is simply this. When I think about it, I think about people's metabolism as being different. How does that affect anyone who is seeking to gain some level of control over weight loss? If their metabolism is one that's so speedy that even if they smell ice cream, it's like they're putting on pongs by just smelling the ice cream. How do you help someone like that deal with that level of challenge that they would have in terms of maintaining good weight?
I believe if again we talk about the mindset difference between people that are fit, people that are out of shape, is
Yeah,
people that are fit always focus on what they can control, and people that are out of shape tend to focus on things that they are out of their control, and that only leads to a negative path. So you first of all can do something to increase your metabolism, eat more fiber, eat more spicy food, build more muscle, all those things
ah,
improve your metabolism. But even if you believe that you're born with a wrecked metabolism, as a lot of people tell me when they first come in to work with me, there's still so many things that you can focus on because nobody is beyond biology. There's
okay,
nobody that will burn more calories than they consume and gain weight. That is against the laws of physics. That
right.
applies to 100% of humans, zero exceptions ever. And the whoever's listening to this, you might feel like you're not eating that much and not gaining and still gaining weight, and that might be true, but you're probably eating the wrong things. So the
Mm,
good news is it's not like you have to physically eat less, you just have to eat differently. Because chances are, right now, you're eating things that are not filling and very high in calories. And if we simply swap that to foods that are super filling and low in calories, and we figure what those foods are specifically for you, then that makes sustainable weight loss easy. And that's the reason that I don't believe in a specific meal plan because low calorie, high filling food that tastes amazing for one person might not taste amazing for another person. And if it doesn't taste amazing, then it's unlikely that you'll stick with it.
yeah, thank you for sharing. Appreciate that, Daniel. Now, in terms of fasting and abstinence from food, do you incorporate that with some of the clients that you work with as a means by which they can lose on a healthy basis and at the same time maintain some level of discipline?
So I believe there's lots of benefits of fasting. However, in terms of sustainable weight loss, the most important thing is to focus on low calorie, super filling foods that taste good and eat those often in the long run. But I would
Okay.
say the benefits of fasting is the busier you are, in my opinion, the easier it is to fast. Because most people have experienced a time in which they were hungry, but they were super ingrained in a project or a task that they were working on, and they were so engaged that they had to finish the task immediately. 2 hours passed, and they forgot they were hungry. And after the 2 hours, they weren't hungry anymore. So in many cases, if you don't want to try to fast for 24, 38, 36, 48 hours, or even just 16 hours, I would pick the day that you're most busy, that you have the most things going on. Because if you sit on your couch all day near your kitchen, it's going to be difficult to fast. But if you have a bunch of things going on, you have meetings, you have a bunch of places you have to be, you don't have time to eat. If you're actually busy, you don't have time to eat. That makes fasting a lot easier. And I believe the benefits of fasting, obviously, there's lots of health benefits in terms of digestive system, but also in terms of mentally, if you succeed in a 48 or even a 24-hour fast, then next time you're hungry, you can mentally tell yourself, hey, I fasted for 48 or 24 hours. I'm just going to prolong my fasting window. So to be more clear, if there was a time in which you fasted for 48 hours, 2 weeks later, you might be hungry even though you ate 2 hours ago. And that time you can tell yourself mentally, hey, I succeeded in fasting for 48 hours and I already ate 2 hours ago. I don't eat food. My stomach is just growling. I can ignore that. So it gives you a mental trophy that sort of says, hey, you did it before, you can do it again, or you can do something close to this again.
Yeah, yeah, great. Wonderful. What about a diet where you incorporate the use of fruits? I
Mhm.
have to try eating fruit almost every morning, and then I take about a half an hour, and then I get into breakfast. How important is that in terms of the program that you help people to use, and what kind of fruits would you recommend that they use in terms of helping them to maintain proper weight or balanced diet?
So, like everything, specifically in regards to nutrition, I don't say you have to eat this specific foods, but I see what foods they really like and give them to eat more of that. And another thing I encourage my clients to do is another mentality of a fit person is that proper diet is about expanding your food choices and eating more food you like, not less. And you do that by, as we mentioned before, eating healthy, tasty foods. But every once in a while, I encourage my clients to try new healthy foods or fruits that they've never tried before. Because 1 week ago was the first time in my life I ever tried papaya, and I really liked it. Now it's another food that is in the healthy and tasty list. And I would have never known it was tasty unless I tried it. So
Right.
chances are there are lots of healthy foods that are also tasty to you, but you don't know that they're tasty because you've never tried them. So I encourage my clients to try all different types of fruits, all different types of vegetables, fish, all of that. And even though you might hate 95% of them, as long as 5% of them you enjoy, and just eat that more often, and then you're golden.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Daniel. We're coming down to the last few minutes of this episode of the Breakout Room, and we are focusing on health and happiness, which could also lead to prosperity, with our guest, Daniel Raz, in the house. Now, for another quick word from one of our affiliate sponsors and partners. Stand by.
FindRadioGuest.com, the place to click to find guests to interview for free. And if you're a radio show booker, podcaster, talk show host, or television producer, then this is the place to get podcasts and radio interviews or promote your books and products as a guest expert sponsor. FindRadioGuest.com. Check it out.
Yeah, we are back live in the breakout room with our guest, Daniel Raz. So, Daniel, are there any books or biographical writings in the making for our listeners that they can sit down and read and study the stuff that you have been doing?
So Most of what I learned was obviously from university and from real world experience, both in gym and both online working with clients. I would say the only book that I've read multiple times that I believe is super beneficial is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Have nothing to do with health or fitness. I just believe that's a great book overall of how to communicate and how to live a great life in general.
Right. But would you be doing anything with regards to the work that you're doing, coming from Daniel Raz?
Would I write a book or would I
Yeah.
write a biography? I have actually never thought about that, and I've never been asked that. So that's a very good question I need to ponder on. At this
Yeah.
moment, I believe if something's working, don't change it. And what I'm doing is certainly working, and I'm really
Yeah.
happy with what I'm doing. So I just plan on
Yeah.
doing more of the same.
If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? I love it. I love it. So, what would you say finally to people? Let's say you have a megaphone and you're speaking to the over 8 billion people on the planet with regards to some of the things that they can do to observe a healthy life, a balance of diet, exercise, especially out of the gym, right? Which is your specialty. What would you say to them, Daniel?
I would say one of the points I mentioned very early on is invest in the most valuable asset that there is, which is yourself. Stocks, crypto, real estate may go down, may go up, but you can always go up if you choose to. And if you don't actively invest in your health, then your well being will go down every single month for the rest of your life. There is no better investment than in yourself. And the quickest shortcut, most guaranteed way to get to where you want to get to is obviously work with someone that has done it, not just for themselves, but for tons of people who are in your shoes currently. And that is what I would get everyone to hopefully internalize that your quality of life is proportional to how good your health is. Because again, you can take piano, but you can take any other skill. You can take Rubik's Cube skill. If you can be 10 out of 10 in that, but if you're 1 out of 10 in your fitness, your health, your life would be awful. And you can be 1 out of 10 in Rubik's Cube or any other skill. If you're 10 out of 10 in health, or at least going in that direction, your life would be significantly better.
Yeah, I guess Warren Buffett would be applauding what you just said with regards to the greatest investment you can make is the one that you make in yourself. Stocks and bonds will go up and go down, but you can
Yep.
maintain a constant, healthy lifestyle if you invest in yourself, bringing the value of who you are to the fore and making that your priority and your intentionality as far as a healthy lifestyle is concerned. We thank you so much, Daniel. We want to give you the opportunity now to share your information with how people can make contact with you. I'm putting some of your stuff up on the screen now, but you can also share with them which you think is the most effective and efficient way that they can get your services online.
So I would say definitely I'm the biggest on Twitter or X at @DenoRaz_fit. I am in the midst of making a lot more shorts and reels, kind of like what you showed, but it's going to be a lot better quality and a lot better content. So you guys can keep on the lookout for that on my Instagram and YouTube. But for now, you can check out my website at denolrasfe.com and mostly my Twitter, super active over there. Message me weight loss and you can see if us working together through a one-on-one coaching makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much. So there you have it. We have come to the end of this wonderful program. Daniel Raz being our guest. He is a graduated exercise and nutrition degree individual, a certified personal trainer, a full-time online fitness coach specializing in helping men sustainably lose weight without going to the gym. His information is on the screen. Check it out when you have the time, or should you should make the time to ensure that you at least connect with this guy with regards to maintaining good health and the kind of quality life that you want to live. We thank you so much for spending your time with us. We thank you for your comments. Ram Singh, we appreciate your comments and your thoughts in the program. And we pray that as you continue to focus on your health, that you continue to gain that kind of discipline, the kind of desire that you need to, so that you can get to that place where you can live a life of health and good quality. Until next time, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, together with our guest, Daniel Raz, saying so long, shalom, Godspeed, God bless, namaste. Bye for now. Until next time, keep the faith going, guys, and keep reaching beyond the skies.